Well, no, sorry, the last video stream I did. I listened back to the recording, and it was just kind of hissy everywhere. And I thought, well, all right, that'll be fine. I mean, there's only 2 shows left, 2 radio shows left, and once that's all done, I will be disconnecting the radio computer and sort of plugging the hard disk. No, I won't. Plugging the sound card from the radio computer into my streaming computer. So I just thought, oh well, if it's a bit hissy until then, fine, I'll cope with it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, it kind of is broken from a streaming point of view, I suppose. But from the radio point of view, it's fine, and there's only 2 shows left, and I'm not going to break it. But then I played with the sound settings today, and actually, sorry, sticky up hairs. Yeah, I think I fixed it. So if it's slightly hissy, I'm apologising now. But I haven't really got time to fix it because I got to start my radio show. And yeah, this is going to be a behind the scenes stream, video stream. Check that's working. That'd be good. My voice should be coming through to the radio show. Quiet. Oh my. Anyway, it won't be quiet when the music comes in. Okay, 1 minute to go. So, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm hosting a radio show now on Off the Chart Radio. So this will be a behind the scenes live stream without the music from the show. So you need to go there to catch the music for licensing reasons. But if you want to stay here, other people have in the past. Oh, wow. I've received 100 messages today. Cool. Everybody likes a prize, don't they? Yeah. It's not streaming science and technology. Why is it doing that? I suppose I do talk a bit about science. Right, I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, if you want the music, put the music on in the background by going to offthechartradio.co.uk. And if you are quite content with listening to me waffle on off air, this is like the behind the scenes radio show channel. We've got to go. It's time. Got my phone vibrating off air. Mainly so that it doesn't vibrate on air, but so yeah, I'm live right now on Off the Chart Radio. Play my first song. So yep. If you're wondering why you're missing the songs, don't worry. You're not meant to be hearing the music. If you can hear the music, that's bad. Especially if you're joining me from Twitch. Hello to you. Yeah, definitely bad to have music on stream right now. You'd have to have been living under a rock to not know why. If you don't know why, you need to look this up. Right, let's sort out this streaming. It's currently showing me as streaming science technology. Whilst I am using science and technology to do this show, it's not the right category. At least I got the title right this time. I've become notorious the last few streams I've done on Twitch for broadcasting completely the wrong title for what I'm doing. So at least this time it's the right title. I am live on Off the Chart Radio. But it should be just chatting. Let's change that now. There we go. And it hasn't updated my go live notification either. Right, there we go. Done. So yeah, if you want to get in touch tonight, feel free, jamie@offthechartradio.co.uk, or send me a message, and it should appear there via the medium where you're watching this video stream, whether that's Twitch, Periscope, Facebook Live, or YouTube Live. It should appear up there, and in theory, it gets relayed to all the others as well. Why is it not displaying my my track details. I'm just getting ready to play the next track. Let's put my chat up to there. There we go. Okay. Let's do a link. Not yet, because Katie Mello hasn't finished. After listening to Rob Wong's show, I feel a tiny bit mean starting mine with Katie Mello. Sorry, I planned this show before I heard about the Popbusters saga. Don't worry, I got some really obvious ones wrong as well. But I think I got 3 as well. What is this with us all getting 3 against Joe? Yeah, somebody needs to beat Joe, I agree. So Popbusters is the quiz that Sam and Joe have been doing on their morning show, which you can hear the show every Monday to Friday on the station until what day is it today? It's Saturday, isn't it? So you can't hear it anymore. I don't know. No, hang on. No, it's Tuesday today. I confused myself because what I did on my last Tuesday show was play Saturday Night by Wigfield and said, oh, this is an advert for my next show, but I've done the Saturday one, haven't I? Yeah, all the days are rolling into one. They really are. So yeah, sorry, Rob, for kicking off with Katie Mello. That was Crawling Up a Hill, which carried on from my last show where I did a bit of a Spectrum theme and played songs that were to do with all the colours of the spectrum apart from indigo. And unwittingly, though I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it wittingly if I'd planned it, by missing out indigo, I also happened to have copied the Pride flag. So happy Pride, everyone. There you go. Well, I mean, wearing the whole flower thing around my neck probably helped towards me promoting that as well. But yeah, we had Violet Hill by Coldplay at the end of my last show and at the end of the last episode of the Tenuous track title tour, where I'm linking together tracks from my music collection purely by something in the title, whether it's tenuous or really tenuous or slightly tenuous, or in this case, not really. Crawling Up a Hill, Violet Hill. So yeah, we're carrying on that hill theme with a bit of Led Zeppelin. Over the hills and far away. So I just replied to Rob. He said, "No way! You didn't plan Katie Mello. What are the chances?" And I said, "Yeah, I didn't even realize properly." So Rob was talking on his show, as you probably gathered. I keep forgetting. It's it's the music you can't hear on the video stream, not what I'm saying. You can hear what I'm saying, so I don't really need to repeat that. I'll get the hang of it eventually. Send that volume down a touch. Yeah, hopefully that audio is a lot clearer now on the video stream. What I was doing was I was getting caught in a loop. Excuse me. Nope, no tea left. So on the last show, because I was so worried about playing music on the stream by accident, I could see the gauges coming up on OBS. And the gauges were flashing up even though I wasn't talking. I thought, that can only mean one thing. That means music's playing through the stream. As it turned out, it wasn't. It was just a load of noise playing through. Because what I've been doing is gradually sort of turning down the volume on my mixing desk so it doesn't peak in OBS, and then sort of turning up the volume elsewhere. But that means the signal coming from the desk has been really noisy, and I've just been boosting the noise in getting stuck in this compensating loop, overcompensating loop. So, yeah, I had some quality time sitting down with OBS today, and undid all of the loops I'd got myself into with the volume and improved the noise. Because I mean, I'm editing my stream on Twitch for clips, and it was terrible quality. It wasn't unlistenable, but compared to almost every other stream I've done, it was you know, I think it had been getting incrementally worse because I got stuck in this loop, as I say. But yeah, I managed to fix it. So if you're just joining me on the video stream, there's no music here. There shouldn't be, because I've routed my audio so that it only goes to offthechartradio.co.uk, where you can listen to the radio show in full. But here we've got behind the scenes kind of, it's akin to how webcams used to be when every radio station had to have a webcam. So I'm sort of harking back to that, getting nostalgic, because nostalgia is the theme, with Off the Chart Radio coming back as a pop-up station. And soon to finish, June the 22nd will be the last day, sadly. But yeah, I think I'll be okay, because I got Twitch to pick up from it. Sorry to leave out the YouTubers and Periscopers and everything, but yeah, I'm going to be going exclusively onto Twitch from June 22nd for streaming. Of course, I've got some YouTube videos. I've got a YouTube video in the works on changing my processor. I said my last video was upgrading RAM for the Terrified. Upgrading RAM is easy. Upgrading processor for the Terrified, and yeah, no. Your terror is justified. You gotta do it right. Led Zeppelin and Over the Hills and Far Away. And yeah, we're gonna carry on that hill theme for at least one more song with this classic from Kate Bush. So yeah, if you want to hear the show and put it on the background and have this in the foreground, or the other way around, have this on the background. Obviously, if you put this on mute, you won't be able to hear my off-air chat, but I am aware that it's not in sync with the audio from the radio station, so it's up to you. Entirely up to you. But yeah, it's been really, really beneficial to me for capturing memories as well, because, you know, this is only a temporary thing, Off the Chart Radio pop-up. And it's been nice to have these visual records of doing it, which I never had the first time round, really. You know, apart from the odd photo from an Off the Chart Radio event, photos are few and far between, apart from like mock-ups I've made myself. So it's really good. It's really good to have these. But also, it's been a live test broadcast for future Twitches. Yeah. The moment it's behind the scenes, me clearing my throat and hiccuping streams. That's a good start. I'm not sure that's an extra channel on on Twitch. Just hiccuping. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, if you want to get in touch, Jamie at offthechartradio.co.uk by email, or you can message me on Twitter at Jamie Nemeth. What else have we got? YouTube chat. I don't know if that. Yeah, YouTube chat should appear up here. Facebook chat on my on my own personal page should appear on there. But it might only be on there if you are connected with me as a friend. But obviously Twitch, twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. Feel free to leave me a message there. That will also appear. 1 week I ended up having loads of messages up there from Twitch. It was great. Proves it was working. And obviously what I'm playing will appear here, but with a bit of a time delay. And sometimes it gets the wrong album cover, which is highly amusing. Last week it thought Tom Jones was an American singer called Peter something. It's a bit bizarre. So there we are. So hopefully it also says on the track information about this being a behind the scenes stream. I don't know if it does on Twitter. On Twitch. I'll get it right eventually. I'm also trying to remember not to shout over the headphones. I've turned my headphones down this week. Just firing off a reply. Yeah, apologies if you're tuned in on Twitch. There will be gaps. I don't plan to leave such long gaps when I'm doing proper game streaming or proper just chatting streaming on Twitch. This is a bit of a hybrid. This is kind of like half just chatting and half mysterious silence where there should be music. But let's say licensing. I was having a chat with some of my Twitch friends earlier, and so Thorny Flower and a couple of people on the channel there who were saying, yeah, it is a shame we can't put the music on here as well. Maybe in the future we'll be able to. But for now. For now, this is the way it is. I haven't got that lined up. That's a great song. That was quite a nice mix. I enjoyed that. I don't react like that to every single mix I make between tracks, but sometimes I mix them and it actually makes it sound like I did radio for several years. Sometimes I mix them, it makes it sound like I've done radio for about 2 minutes. So there we go. Bit of Linkin Park. Yeah, let's do that up there. Just talking to a friend online, talking about gaming, and I managed to get Counter Strike Go working last night. You can't mix it. Either call it CS:GO, Jamie, or call it Counter Strike Global Offensive. Don't say Counter Strike Go. That just makes it sound like I don't know what you're talking about, which I don't. Right, let's try that again. I was so excited to get it working, even though I haven't got my graphics card yet. I'm still waiting for it. But I got my new processor in, my new i7 3770. I was so excited to get it actually working with some lower resolution, but it was still really playable, like, really fast to my eyes. Perfectly playable. So I thought, oh, right, come on, let's try this out. And I accidentally kind of joined like the team match and I was in the thick of it. I didn't even know the controllers yet. It was like, oops. So I just made an exit, hopefully before anybody noticed my name. Because given that my name on the game as well was Jamie Nemeth, I didn't hide it behind a pseudonym. So they'd be like, okay, this is a guy who joins a game and then just drops out of our team. Sorry. I just thought it was better to bail than mess up, because I literally didn't even know how to move at that point. I'm a up, down, left, right person rather than a WASD person. So I had to get used to that, because, I mean, I could do the up, down, left, right, but there's no keys anywhere near it to do all the reloading and picking up stuff. So, I could use a controller, I suppose. I've got one over there somewhere. But I thought, nah, I'll try and convert myself to a WASD person. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, I'm literally referring to the keyboard. Ew, that's dirty. But yeah, I tend to use these. I've always used these for games, and other people use the WASD from old keyboard computer games. Do you want to put the mics on? So that was an instruction to Studio 2. which Superman's in front of, so I can't see. There we go. My radio mic console. So I'm bringing producer Mum and Dad in from Studio 2. Why I called it that, I don't know. Linkin Park and Easier to Run. Before that, Kate Bush running up that hill. And if you saw me smiling on my behind the scenes video stream that I'm running alongside this on Off the Chart Radio, that's just because sometimes I do a crossfade between songs that makes it sound like I've been doing radio for several years. Sometimes I do a crossfade that makes it sound like I've been doing it for several minutes and I haven't got a clue what's going on. But anyway, hello to producer Mum and Dad who are joining me from Studio 2.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you today? Like I didn't ask you earlier today. That sounds really random. I haven't been in the house with you all day, yeah.
Shattered.
What have you been doing then, producer Dad? Tell everybody.
Laying flagstones.
Ooh. Exciting. Out of all of the things we could be doing on lockdown, you've chosen to do that.
I'm too old for this now.
But yeah, no, it was nice that we managed to find somebody who was through a friend who was giving away these flagstones they couldn't do anything with, and just purely by chance we had an area that would work with some flagstones to build like a little sort of, it's not really a patio, is it? It's like a sort of entrance way to the shed, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's a rain away, Jim.
Well, yeah, that's the main purpose for it, but it looks great. It really does look really good. Our garden's just been transformed in the space of about a week.
What was really weird was we had the shed before, which collapsed.
Yep.
And it was standing in the garden a different way.
Yeah. It was a side on. Well, the door was on the long side, wasn't it? And it was sort of facing like across the garden rather than down the garden, wasn't it? If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I vaguely thought there must be something underneath it.
Yeah.
But then Dad put the new shed in, so he just cleared the space for that, and it's a lot smaller. And thought, all right, I'll have to dig up this soil at the side of it and put the flagstones we'd been given there. When he dug up the soil at the side, he discovered flagstones that were already there.
Yeah, I didn't even know those were there.
But they must have been, because they were underneath the other shed.
We've basically had like a barbecue area for how many years and not even known. It's just been hiding under a shed.
30 years.
Yeah. Well, it has to have been because it was here when it was built. Yeah, that's true. And I've been here, well,
34 years.
Yeah, scarily. Well, 33 years, 9 months. In the strict. Well, actually, no, because I haven't added on the extra months from this year. Yeah, I'm 35 this year. Rob Wong said on his show that life hasn't moved on, because he played a Clean Bandit song that he also played 10 years ago on the station, and jokingly said, "Oh, life hasn't moved on at all." Yeah, but when I realise I'm 35 in a couple of months, life's definitely moved on. But yeah, I am playing a lot of the same music I would have. So did you enjoy that Linkin Park track?
Yeah.
Wow, that was resounding. Okay. Some interesting lyrics in that, but it gets quite deep. That's the interesting thing about doing this Tenuous track title tour anyway, is that it's letting me discover songs I didn't know I had. And that, again, I like Linkin Park. I don't know that track at all.
What I was intrigued by was Led Zeppelin's, because it sounded like a folk song at the beginning.
Yeah, it had lots of different things going on. Obviously, the Kate Bush one we know very well. But yeah, I sometimes do use tracks as link tracks, and I do have some influence in the way the playlist is going. If things really don't work, I will try and find an alternative. But obviously, I've sort of hemmed myself in with this feature in a way, which started off as something I said on a whim, but it's actually carried on for how many shows now? About 7 or 8 shows. I think this is episode 8 of the Tenuous track title tour, and I really shouldn't have not had background music, because we're going to launch straight into a bit of Pendulum. Actually, no, it launches in gently, so we're okay. So we had Easier to Run by Linkin Park. Now we're going to have some Pendulum and Midnight Runner, and carry on that run theme for a little bit. This is Off the Chart Radio, the internet's #1 pop-up station for the next 3 days. 7 days? No, I'm mixing up with Saturday again. It's Tuesday today. Tuesday, Jamie. It says it on the calendar in front of you. I'm honestly, my brain doesn't know whether it's Saturday or Tuesday now. And anyway, I'm an actual Sunday, not Saturday. What's going on? My guest that's coming up later, who is coming up later rather, not that. They've said the same. Days are just blurring into one. Oop, my headphone's gone a bit funny. Ah, that's why. Had this lead which plugs directly into one of the channels, contacting the metal part on my mixing desk, which will cause some weird grounding issues. Sorry if you heard a bit of crackling then. That was my fault entirely. But even that crackling will have been a lot quieter than the noise that we've been experiencing the past few weeks on the past 2 streams, I think. So yeah, let me know how your evening is going. Jamie at offthechartradio.co.uk. I'm off air right now. I'm talking to you on the stream. So hello, talking to you. So yeah, send me a message as well. It should appear here if you post a message where you're watching this video. Maybe with a bit of a time delay. So yeah, part of the time delay will be the internet. The other 3 minutes where I don't spot the message or don't read it out will be me. The delay will be up here. Multitasking delay, you could call it, I guess. I forgot to do my go live on Discord. All right, let's do that now. Although some people might have already realised I'm on, so yeah, I'm on the UK Twitch streamers Discord. I'm as new to Discord as I am to Twitch. In fact, I'm newer to Discord. Only been on there just over, well, maybe it's been 2 weeks now, actually. Probably has been about 2 weeks by now. And it's really good. It's reminding me of the Internet Relay Chat days, the ICQ days. Yahoo Chat was my first one that I was on with the microphone. And so it's got a bit of that as well, really. Yeah, let's do a non-affiliates going live post. From 8 to 10 p.m. with my penultimate behind the scenes. Oh yeah, Pendulum also gives me a long time to do off air stuff. Got 3 minutes left of that. Twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. Make it short and sweet. I don't like the word stream twice. So I don't want to stream this evening with my stream. On Twitch this evening with my stream. Don't duplicate a word in the same paragraph if you can avoid it. Just, well, it's just my well, I suppose it's probably good writing practice as well, but I definitely prefer not to repeat words too much. Shouldn't get too embroiled in this chat as well. Right then, what have we got next? Bit of Vampire Weekend. Lighthouse Family Snow Patrol. So if you want to hear those, get over to offthechartradio.co.uk. And no, I was going to check on my phone, but I don't really need to. Got Facebook up here. Let's see if I've got a message from one person I invited tonight. So if you see me disappearing in that I'm looking away and not saying anything, it's just because I'm lining up the next track. So apologies in advance. This is going to happen a few times. But I am trying to interject with off-air chat when I can. We have that one then. That's... There's a bit of a gap there, but never mind. It wasn't too bad. The track went quiet. I don't think it had actually ended, so I could have got away with playing it out, but yeah. Like I'm not going to burn through my playlist. No, I've got extra songs at the end, so that's fine. Because that happened when we were doing the claps for carers. I did that and then started my show at 8:10, my radio show. Whereas now I've got the full 2 hours because I started dead on 8 o'clock. So, the first week I did that with the full 2 hours. I ended up falling 10 minutes short because I'd underplanned. So that was good. So yeah, if you've just joined, hello, welcome. Go there if you want to hear the meet. There. I can't even get my hands level. Let's see. Right, go there. I could just point with one hand. Just do that. Make it look like it was deliberate. Right. Offthechartradio.co.uk to hear the music, because for licensing reasons you won't hear it on Twitch, and for common sense reasons right now. Also broadcasting on YouTube Live, Facebook, and Periscope. But from June the 23rd onwards, every stream I do will be on Twitch only. So if you're not on Twitch already and you're watching via another medium, twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. That's twitch.tv at what? No, stop. Twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. I sound like somebody who doesn't know how web addresses work now. Which you could forgive other people for. Maybe. Not me. As a software engineer. Yeah. Twitch@tv.Jamie Nemeth. Ow. I'm at Jamie Nemeth on Twitter as well, if you want to follow me once Off the Chart finishes. If you want to follow Off the Chart for posterity, of course you can. We're still going for another few days yet. Off the Chart on Twitter. And there's a Facebook page as well, Off the Chart Radio. Off the Chart Radio pop-up. But I think that might be a Facebook group, actually, so it might just be for us presenters. So forget I said that. Offthechartradio.co.uk is the website. And also I run a website called ourtalecontinues.co.uk, where I attempt to track past OTC DJs across different stations. So hello to Howell as well, who's just seen my video on Facebook. Welcome along. That's the problem when my throat's a bit dry anyway. No, it's not that. But it's just lack of tea. But also when you push your voice into radio mode, suddenly it starts to go dry. Although I managed 1.5 hours last night on the Twitch doing a test stream without having a dry throat at all. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't pushing my voice properly. I was just talking in a relaxed way. Rob Wong was asking, is this Vampire Weekend? Not heard it in ages. Yes, it was. It was Vampire Weekend and Run. Before that, we had Pendulum and Midnight Runner. So that's where I was going with that. And we're going to carry on with the Run theme. But yeah, Rob was saying as well, can't believe you had Katie Melua lined up. What a coincidence. Yeah, I didn't plan it. I'm sorry. It just seemed really mean. I didn't even realise fully I am somebody who can do that. I'm sure other people can as well, where I can be looking straight at a screen with, something on it that has relevance to what I'm hearing and not see it. It's like my brain sort of splits in two almost, and it's only when I fired off the track and played it and thought, hang on, I'm sure. Oh. Rob was just talking about this on his show as being a reminder of a question he regrets getting wrong on Popbusters. So he didn't mind so much about that. It was the Taylor Swift one, wasn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean. I think there was one I misheard on the quiz as well, and it's like, afterwards, Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, I don't know Earth, Wind and Fire's back catalogue at all, really. To be fair, so trying to get it off the top of my head wouldn't have really worked anyway. But still, it was like, it's one of those questions where even if you don't know the answer, and even if you can completely forgive yourself for not knowing the answer, you're still like, yeah, but that's a band I should know. It's like not knowing a Queen song. Well, Queen and Earth, Wind and Fire, I suppose they're not really that similar, but yeah, it's that sort of thing. I used to know this next band's back catalogue a lot better than I do right now, because I didn't know they'd done a song called Run. Here's Lighthouse Family. After which we'll probably hear more from the Nemeth family as a whole. Jamie at offthechartradio.co.uk if you want to get in touch tonight. Let me know how your night's going. This is almost, it's borderline ska. It's not ska, but it's borderline ska, isn't it, with the trumpet kicking in? Like chilled ska, maybe. Actually, do I know this song? I don't know. Confused. Starting to vaguely come back, but I'm not sure if that's because I remember hearing it or because I remember listening to it when I was preparing the show. So yeah. 2 shows left, this being one of the 2 on Off the Chart Radio. Yeah, last show I did, I was like, yeah, I think I'm okay with it, actually. I'm okay with finishing. It'd be nice to have a break. Now I'm starting to get a bit sad. It's been a long time, and I hadn't realised how much I'd missed it until I started doing shows again. Especially as, everything was here waiting, really. The mixing desk I've been using as a glorified headphone amplifier, which is a ridiculous overuse of a mixing desk, really. Well, other people use mixing desks, I suppose. I don't know. There's a pub local to me who had a mixing desk that was just basically being a way of playing MP3s through the stage. But then, later on they have used it for bands, and bands have actually, rather than bringing their own kit, they've used the house desk, if you like. But yeah, mine's basically been a headphone mixer. Apart from the odd nostalgic, let's pretend I'm still on OTC, except now I get to pretend for real. It's overkill for Twitch as well, really. Well, to a point. Bang It Summer on Twitch, no. Yeah, I think. To look this up now. Has been giving some really good advice on the Discord group. Excuse me. I think I've given out the wrong username, that's all. No, got it right. Bang It Summer is a very good streamer who I watch, and yeah, that's what she's saying. If you've got a condenser mic like mine, you need a mixer, really, because the problem with a condenser mic is it's almost too good. It picks up all frequencies really well, including the really sharp sounds. So you need a way of Maybe it's not that I don't remember them doing this track, as that I just don't remember it was called Run. Because vague memories of that song are coming back now, but I can't tell if that's because I vaguely remember it from years ago or because I vaguely remember it from about an hour ago when I listened to it before I before I've done the show. I don't know. I can't separate That's another thing that my brain couldn't do well before lockdown, is separate out time very well. Something could have happened 2 years ago or yesterday, and okay, not that bad if it was yesterday, but I have to make an active effort to sort of mark those times, because otherwise I don't know. It could be years ago. It could be 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I really don't know. It all merges together. But here's a track. Actually, I probably wouldn't like to admit how old this track is. It's one of those scary ones, like the Spice Girls being 20 years old. But if I'm on a run theme, I couldn't not play this song, of course. Snow Patrol. And a good friend of ours I know will be going like this. Anything Snow Patrol. What amused me was one time she didn't even realise it was them on the radio. I think it was a famous song of theirs. I went, Snow Patrol. Is it? Snow Patrol! It's like a sudden realisation. Their mind had been on something else, that's all. But, because they normally react within like 0.2 seconds of hearing anything Snow Patrol or seeing them on the telly. Let's see if oh, wrong mouse. I've got two computers on the go here in the studio. One of them is my trusty radio computer from years and years ago. And the other one is my new souped up streaming computer. So I was saying to Thorny Flower earlier on Twitch, there was a conversation going on about how many computers people had for streaming. And I seem to have things back to front. I've got two PCs on the go for doing my radio show. One doing the video stream, one doing the audio stream, and one PC for when I'm streaming games, with the games and the streaming happening on the same PC. And that sounds the wrong way around to me. That sounds completely back to front. But it's a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, again with the radio station computer, because if I swap things around now, I know something's going to go wrong. So I'm not going to. But as I say, when the radio show finishes, I'm going to disconnect the better sound card, the better USB sound card, and put that into the new computer. Having said that, actually, if the audio's all right now, I might not do that. Maybe it was just because I got myself stuck in a horrible loop. I'll have to listen back to this recording afterwards. But I did a couple of test recordings before I did this live stream right now. It sounded fine to me, so yeah. I may not need to change anything. I may just leave it as it is. Because it's definitely much easier this way. I mean, then if the radio show does pop up again, because what's nice about this is it's proof of the concept that we don't have to leave it 6 years next time. We can pop up for any reason for a month if nostalgia's getting to us, and excuse me, lockdown's going to be going for a little while yet, at least here in the UK. Oh, excuse me. I should have got myself a tea. I faded down the mic for the stream now. Orange squash with no wine, hopefully. At least before the show. As I'll probably say in the next link. There was one point during festival season last year where Becca O'Hara couldn't run away from a song's called Runaway. Because we kept bumping into her everywhere. Quite comical. Saw her at a few different festivals. Oh. Just reading some of the comments on the Off the Chart Radio on Rob Ong's profile. So yeah, if you want to know what's going on and you've just joined, there is where you need to go to hear the music. This is the behind the streams live scene, behind the scenes live stream, which, as I say, is a bit akin to when every single radio station had to have a webcam of some description. Ooh. Using our screen a bit there, right? And the mystery is destroyed. It's better, I think. Yeah, I'm going to miss the studio. Well, okay. All the other equipment's going to be exactly the same. But I enjoyed making this studio background. I'm going to put the mics on. I was going to talk about the festival where she couldn't run away from us because we were bumping into her everywhere. The lovely, in every sense of the word, Becca O'Hara and Runaway. And of course, during festival season last year, she couldn't run away from us, could she, producer ma'am? Because we seemed to bump into her everywhere we were, and it was getting comical at times. Because
not just in festivals, though.
Oh no, there were other things as well. Yeah. Although we did get to see her and Jake at festival, it was like it had been a while since we'd seen her. We knew we'd met her before. We couldn't quite place her from where, and then they started playing. I realised, that's where it was, the Bogston opening. But we saw them at Landed Festival last year, didn't we?
They parked next to us.
Yeah, and then saw them on the stage.
Well, when we were collecting the armbands, anyway.
But then also at the Llandovery, that's a letter in Welsh, Llandovery Sheep Festival.
There I didn't expect to bump into her, no.
No, and I didn't expect to be saying that on the air either, because that's such a stereotype, it sounds like, doesn't it? But it was really good. I think, it was done a little bit tongue-in-cheek by the festival as well, I suppose. And it is a serious festival, but...
Yeah, but we missed... we either missed or we couldn't figure... No, we missed it by a day, but we couldn't figure out where it was anyway, where they were doing the sheepdog trials.
Yeah, quite, because they took over. There's if you've ever been to Llandovery, there's a castle there on a little hill, I'm not going to play Ed Sheeran right now. But and then it's like a statue of All England Do up on the hill as well, isn't there? And a quite a big car park. So for what you may say is a little town, in the outskirts of Mid Wales, it's got quite a lot of parking there. It's quite a community going on, and that was evident that day as well. Because as I say, obviously there were sheep there. Of course there were. But and then there was a bit of a farming theme, But they had so many different stalls. They had our favourite food stall there. They had Sloppy Joe's there, didn't they?
And they had Vikings.
They had Vikings. So it was a fully featured festival with a load of different things going on, and it was a shame. Didn't it get rained out one day or something? They had to close it down early, or was that the previous year? I can't remember. They had to cancel it the previous year, I think, something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think everything had been thrown off by a day on the year that we were there.
Yeah.
So I think the Sheepdog Trials had been supposed to be that day and the day before. But because the weather forecast was bad for the afternoon, they'd had them early on, I think, the day before.
Yeah.
Crammed them all in, something like that. So that's why we couldn't buy. We eventually did do the thing we should have done in the first place and actually asked somebody to be told. I think they said that they planned not to do them on that day, but though ironically it was really hot, and so the sheep they had inside, they couldn't keep them in for long because the fleeces.
Yeah, quite.
So they were continuously giving them water and things, and they were in this little pen. But
loads of food stalls, loads of craft stalls as well. Josie's Present came from there, didn't it? The innovative wine holder that we saw. So it seems like we were talking about wine, badly covering it up by saying grape juice. Yeah, white or red grape juice. But it was like a little thing that you put on top of a wine bottle, and you can put the glasses around the outside of it. It's like a little wooden shape. I don't know how to describe it really, because it's a square with holes in. I suppose that makes it sound rubbish. It's like, you haven't put any work into this craft at all. It's just a square with holes in. But no, it was very cleverly designed.
And that incredible stall opposite.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a stall. It was a demonstration
I wanted
stall.
to buy stuff.
Yeah,
they wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
It was the local Woodturners Association, and it was a demonstration. So I said, "Can I buy this?" No, they said we had lots of people asking to buy these things. They're just for show. They're showcasing the crafts of the students, I guess you'd say. Students and workshoppers, I guess, maybe is the right way to put it. And they said we had lots of people asking. No price is high enough, and I respected them for that a lot. I just really wanted the little thing, little figure that they'd made of. It was a well-known electricity company that had a dancing figure you may have seen, and it's a customized version of something that you can buy commercially, but it's about 60 quid or something to buy the real thing. Except the real thing isn't the one off the advert, and it isn't anywhere near as cute as the one off the advert, because the one in the advert was a custom version made for that company. But they'd made one in wood. I wanted it. I said, "Can I please buy it?" No. Oh, it's cool. Let's take a photo of it. That'll have to do me.
Then you got to have a go at the working modders, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was incredible. Things that there was a drill, wasn't there? Where you pressed it and it turned. The drill bit turned around.
Yeah, and machinery that actually worked. Yeah, the amount of ingenuity. There is no limit to ingenuity if you've got infinite patience. I don't think I'd have the patience to do it.
They said there were little cogs inside, but they were carved cogs.
Yeah.
So that's how the things turned, as if they were plugged into the electric.
Yeah, you couldn't use it as a real drill, clearly,
but just to see it, like the automatons, I suppose, the dolls and things that they had. They were in a way automatons. They were just very cleverly, mechanically created, but out of wood, to do mimic the same things that they would mechanically do. But it was fascinating, because when we looked at them, we thought, wow, they just look really good, without realizing they actually moved.
And you could see the pride in their faces when they said, "It works,
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, come on!" And then they showed them working. Yeah, ingenuity was amazing. Yeah. just I can imagine it. I can see it in my mind's eye now. I wonder if I've got any photos of that online that I could post. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that quickly enough, unfortunately, and whether it would be right to actually, because that it was for the people who visited the festival. So hopefully our descriptions have been adequate enough, and there we are. When all this blows over, if you're finding yourself anywhere near Mid Wales next year, look out for the Llandovery Sheep Festival. Despite the name, you may giggle at the name. I think the organisers probably giggle at the name as well. They've done that deliberately, but it's a really, really good festival. I can highly recommend going to it. And again, one of these brilliant examples of a community pulling together, as we're seeing lots of lately as well. I know, but
They also
yeah.
do sheep racing
yeah,
in the
going back to the stereotype.
in the bog
yeah.
snorkeling,
Yes, yeah.
where they've got like little teddies and things, and no sheep are harmed in this process. They just love to run, so or to run free. But they've got a little bear on, and then people say, "Oh, number 1 will win, or number 2 will win, and 3 will
Yeah,
win."
I don't think they do like the horse racing, do they? They don't have like
No, they
thoroughbred.
do,
Well, they
man.
do have thoroughbred sheep, of course they do, but
Yeah.
they're not for racing.
No, but they do man versus man and woman, and
Yes.
anybody else that
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
where you run and you're timed, and the horse goes and it's timed to see if you can beat the timings of the horse over the same course.
Yeah, they do these events normally throughout the year. Obviously not right now, but in and around Llanrwstyd Wells, it's the World Alternative Games, and Green Events is the overarching organisation that runs it all. But yeah, it's sort of this weird combination of tongue in cheek and really serious athletics, and it's
They are
it's
serious.
brilliant. Oh, they take it very seriously. Like not they don't take themselves too seriously, but they take the actual competition and the sport seriously, even if it's wife carrying. It's
But a lot of people are sponsored to take part as well,
Yeah,
so they're serious about it because they're trying to raise money.
yeah.
So,
Right, we're going to carry. Well, it's very apt that we had that running theme then. Really, I suppose not so much for the bog snorkeling, but for the triathlons that they do. But now we're going to move on to. We're staying with the chilled mood as well. We've got a bit of Nora Jones. Josh Groban's on the way as well. But before that, Nora Jones and Come Away With Me. So we had Runaway, then we've got Come Away With Me. Haven't heard this one in ages as well. Oh, my voice went deep then. It's the orange squash. I'll have to have more orange squash. This is really weird as well. Talking about coming away with me in the night. I did a test stream last night. And just streaming, the internet wasn't quite stable. Although yesterday I didn't know it, but I was saying, is there something weird about today? I was oblivious to the fact that there was some big Fortnite event on, apparently, which basically very nearly crashed Twitch. And when I came off from my stream, I had no videos, and it said this user hasn't streamed recently, and I'm just there going, I literally just finished a test stream. I've definitely streamed as recently as it's physically possible to stream. Came right after about an hour or so. But yeah, I guess this event had been going all day. So I probably should do a proper test stream on another occasion when everybody's not clamouring to play Fortnite tournaments. Oh, might work a lot better. Line up some more jingles then. Not between these two tracks, it'll spoil the tracks, but I was trying to mix them up a little bit. And we've got a mixture. This is all old station imaging, if you like, but stuff we've built up over, well, how many years? This comes from 2011. So a little bit of history of Off the Chart Radio. It was running from 2004 to 2014. I joined the station in the end of 2007 for some guest features, and then full time. Well, I say full time, and radio wasn't my job. But did a show every week, more or less. Skip a few. From 2008 to 2014 when the station closed. And then it's recently relaunched as a pop-up station to get us through our lockdowns. And it's finishing on June the 22nd, so 7 days to go. If you've not heard off the chart before, the next 7 days is your last opportunity to do so. I would highly recommend it. Of course, it won't be nostalgic so much for you if you've never heard it before, but we're a nice bunch of people, diverse bunch of people, all playing our own style of music, and having the freedom to present in whatever style we want to, really, which is what's always been nice about Off the Chart. Professionally run, aspiring to be like the commercial stations in some senses, but with the freedom to do what we want, make up our own features, our own entirely original features. Pop Busters, yeah. I made a mock-up of Bob Holness, who I have a huge amount of respect for. I didn't quite feel like I did when I sort of did a merger of Bob Holness and Ken Bruce and Sam and Joe. Well, Sam messaged me and said that's terrifying. Terrifying mashup. It was a bit uncanny valley. It was terrifying because it was too good in a way and too weird. Ken Bruce's face and Bob Holness. With profuse apologies to Bob Holness, who I grew up with in a way. I used to watch Blockbusters all the time. I know it came back with Dara Ó Briain. I managed to miss that. I'm sure he was a brilliant host on it. Because Dara Ó Briain I've got a lot of time for as well. In fact, managed to miss nearly all of Go 8-Bit, really. So it's kind of ironic that I'm now doing streams on Twitch of retro games, having not watched any of Go 8-Bit. Not sure why. Get ready to invite my guests onto the show, which I'm going to do via the medium of telephony. Which means I'll need the equalizer app to boost the volume a touch. Yes. Tab. Channel C. So that's what this cable was that I was managing to ground and was buzzing. It's doubling up on one of the mixer channels. So the way I've got it set up, I've got 4 faders. One of them's for jingles, and then 3 of them are separate music players that I can fire off independently. But on the back of the mixing desk, for 2 of the channels at least, you've got a choice between. There we are. Got a choice between those plugs and I haven't got any to hand, but 5.25 inch jack plug. 5.25. That's a floppy disk. Whatever they are, jack plugs, the big jack plugs, like you have on an instrument lead. So I've exploited that by having 2 leads going into the same channel, but that means this was live, not live in an electrical sense. So it's not 240 volts, but grounding it against the metal of the case kind of confused all the electronics, I think, a bit. But I've missed hearing Josh Groban, which there's no excuse for, really, because I've got several Josh Groban albums on my computer. It's just that being forced in a good way to sit down and prepare radio shows actually forces you to sit down and not listen to your on repeat playlist on a certain well-known streaming thing, which that's basically what I've ended up doing. And of course, because you end up in a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of vicious circle. It's not really vicious, but you end up in a cycle that you can't get out of, because of course on your on repeat playlist you've got all the tracks that have been generated from your favorite tracks. So you put it on, you go, oh yeah, this is my favorite track, and you just get stuck with the same favorite tracks over and over and over again because you never break out of it. 'Cause it's like, oh yeah, and this one's my favorite track as well. Oh, and this one. How did you know? And this one. And of course, that then contributes to the figures, which generate the fact that you've been listening to those tracks on repeat. Yeah. So I don't know why Josh Groban's not on there. Maybe I'll have to start listening to him on there as well. But that was If I Walk Away. And before that, we had Norah Jones and Come Away With Me. And we're going on to... All right. Okay. It's going to be a more tenuous one. Also a track I've never heard before. We had If I Walk Away, and this is If It Wasn't for the Night by ABBA. At which point the radio show starts to sound like I'm a wedding DJ or something, but yeah, diverse mix at weddings, nothing wrong with that. You sure I put any naughty lyrics in this one? Double check. It doesn't really matter so much on this station. But still, it's a personal goal. I don't tend to play songs with swearing in. Not deliberately, anyway. Ow! Hitting getting this headphone caught in the mic. I've got a bit of time. I'm trying not to phone my guest too early. Otherwise, I'd just be left sort of hearing nothing but silence through the phone. Which won't be very good. I'm going to pick my mug up. Mug's got nothing in it. That's cool. I like the variety when it gets the album cover right on the screen. It adds some vibrancy to the show. It's like changing the wallpaper or something. It's quite cool. So yeah, if you've just joined me on the video stream, hello, welcome. I'm saying that because I've just seen somebody's just joined. The music is here on offthechartradio.co.uk and not on my stream for hopefully obvious reasons on Twitch right now. But generally, it's we shouldn't really have music playing in the background on video streams for now. Although Mixcloud have now started doing a Mixcloud Live, so maybe I'll bring back one of my old radio shows, The Unchart, on Mixcloud at some point in the future. Maybe. I'm toying with it. I mean, I started toying with Twitch, and now I'm on Twitch, so toying with things sometimes leads to, maybe on that. It would cost me £9 a month, which isn't too bad, but I might start to get a bit annoyed with myself if I'm not streaming all the time on there. If I'm only like doing one show a month or something, a bit of a waste of £9 a month. One show a week would be better. Because I tend to use Mixcloud free. I don't mind the adverts. I wouldn't be paying the £9 to get rid of the adverts. Not really interested in that. Great to see you all dancing out there. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves tonight at this lovely event. It's been lovely to see the happy couple. Don't forget you've got time to get your drinks from the bar before they do their speeches and their first dance. But before that, here's a bit of 10cc. Yeah, that doesn't quite work because it didn't come in as I was expecting. But anyway, we've got ABBA and If It Wasn't for the Night, and then a bike bell, apparently, at the start of this 10cc track. Une nuit à Paris. Can resist a little bit of comedy there, that's all. I was shouting into the mic a bit. Maybe I'll turn that down for stream. Just clipping a bit there, sorry. Right. I was trying to sort of recreate the effect of having a dynamic mic. I've got a condenser, so I was talking into it a bit close. It wasn't clipping on stream. For some reason, it only clips in OBS. It wasn't actually clipping on my stream, on my radio stream. This is the stream. That's also a stream. It's very confusing. That's the way the croissant crumbles. What the heck is this song? Comically brilliant is what it is, but I've never played this before. Very different. If you're not listening to the audio stream at the moment, I highly recommend it because these words are bonkers. That's why I'm a bit distracted. It's a bit like the like 10cc's Bohemian Rhapsody in a sense. There's so many stories going on. I'm not necessarily comparing 10cc and Queen, but well, I suppose I am by definition, but not musically. I'm just saying surreal. Ominous. One Night in Paris. Is what it translates to, I was going to say. That wasn't the ominous bit. The ominous bit was the lyric I just heard. I wouldn't say it out of context, but let's get this. Got the lead uncaught. I guess I need to put the phone a bit closer to me because basically what I'm doing right now, you can get gadgets to connect a phone properly to a mixing desk. I'm just using a headphone lead, so it won't have two-way communication with the phone. You can get a gadget that does that. I think the iRig ones do that. So it's got a mic input and headphone out. It's very clever, and I nearly bought one. But again, this is one of 2 shows left. It doesn't. If I already had one, it would be fine. But to buy one just for these 2 shows, that would be a bit silly. Especially as I've just put in an order. Well, that was about a month ago now. Put in an order for some things that won't exclusively be for the radio show, but would have been useful. And they're not going to arrive until August because one item isn't in stock until the 12th of August, even though when I ordered it, it said that it was in stock, and that's why I went with this particular supplier over another one. Now, I know everybody's in the same boat. I'm not going to criticise too much because we're all in extraordinary circumstances right now. I do get that, but I am frustrated that it said on the day I ordered it and for a few days afterwards, in stock, in stock, in stock. Like green, all green. And only like after a few days said, actually no, after a few weeks it said, not in stock till the 12th of August. I thought, well, when did you realise? There we are. Excuse me. Not just orange squash, clearly. Busy. I'll drink all of it. I'll get through the whole show with that. What is going on? This song is just. Well, I've always been told how diverse my show is. We're up in the ante tonight. Doing my silent disco thing again, I know. I've been back and forth to music you can't hear on the stream. It seems like with deliveries, I just managed to get, which never happens to me actually normally, managed to get the perfect time window for things to arrive fairly reliably. So I thought, right, you know, the whole lockdown situation hasn't really affected me that much. And then all the deliveries stopped. I ordered a multimeter about 5 months ago. That's never arrived. Not 5 months. Hasn't been that long. Feels like it though. February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, it is 5 months. It's felt like that long because it has been that long since I ordered it anyway. Not lockdown hasn't gone on that long. Quite that long. I'll put the mics on for the end of this. It's good because I can see the lights coming on when they turn the radio mics on, so I know that they're on. It's always good. Because that sound about now. If you missed the audio from the show, you're going to have to listen back to this bit. 1 hour 20 in on the Mixcloud. Mixcloud.com/offthechartradio or Mixcloud.com/Jamie Nemeth. Producer Mum and Dad, your reaction.
Oh, it's 10cc.
That was a long one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. 8 minutes and 37 seconds, I think, beaten only by News from Nowhere's track. Actually, we may hear from them later, or maybe on the next show, depending on time. But, yeah.
Did you remember the programme that was on about them, where they were explaining about how complex their multi-tracks were?
Oh, yeah. I remember
Thousands
that.
and thousands.
Yeah.
And listening to that, it made me think, yeah, they did it before Queen. And so many elements of that track made you think of Queen.
That's really weird because that's the comparison I just came up with off air. And I have video proof on the behind the scenes live stream because I was talking about that off air to myself. And then you just said the same thing. You gotta stop doing that. Psychic link, man. Gotta stop.
They were at 10cc just incredible. They just pull you in.
It felt like 10cc's Bohemian Rhapsody, didn't it?
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I don't know why we don't hear them more. You're right, but yeah, well now we've heard 8 minutes 37 of them,
To make up for not hearing.
and actually we've got our guest to thank for that. So we're going to be speaking to Nigel Davis hopefully in a bit. I'm just going to try and get him on the phone during the next couple of songs,
I'm saying thank you to Nigel then, as he found that track.
because I did a little bit of a sort of a kink in the tenuous track title to a switching of tracks like a train track in a way. To put an extra loop in so that his track actually works within the tenuous track title to it, and then we get back to our original main line, if you like. But carrying on from Une Nuit à Paris, we've got Friendly Fires and Paris, and then a classic from Infernal, following seamlessly from this. Yeah, sort of. You have to hear. Get my headphones off.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, how are you? We're not on air yet.
No, I'm different time zones at the watching you on YouTube.
Oh, God.
Listening to an audio and toggling. I know you're on the phone as well.
Yeah, yeah.
We said earlier that time plays tricks, but this is
Is-
another dimension altogether.
I didn't even mean to do that as a deliberate joke, but I've twice at the start of the show, I thought today was Saturday, even though we haven't had the week yet, and I was just saying, oh, only 2 days left on Off the Charts. Like, no, there's 7 days left. You just read the tweet that said 7 days left, and you still said it's Saturday. What? It's not Saturday.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just switching it down because I'm got you coming from the side and the front now.
That's far too much of me, definitely.
Telly's watching with me.
Oh, there we are. That's good.
He's on it. Yeah. But all this technology, mate, it's wonderful.
It's amazing what you can do.
Talk about that.
Well, I'll talk a bit about the song, just general chat. It can be flexible. It's just, I haven't really structured anything. Feel free to talk about your music and your tracks that you've done. Feel free to reference Moongazer, because goodness knows I have. I've played you on a couple of shows, so yeah. I'm not going to prescribe anything. It's just freestyle.
Okay, we'll have a good old gossip then.
Okay, doke. Mem did say about you co-hosting the show. I thought I could have done that possibly, but that's quite long to be on the phone. Your phone starts melting into your ear after half hour if I do that.
What was that? Sorry, I missed that.
No, Mem was saying about co-hosting the show, but if you had your phone up for 2 hours, that would be quite extreme.
If you travel over and just
Yeah. We could have the radio mic outside, actually. I did think about doing that one show, but it's too complicated. It's just because I don't trust my computer. I should trust my computer after all these years, but guaranteed the one time it would go catastrophically wrong, it would be when I was out of the room.
yes,
So, okay, I'm gonna...
that's guaranteed. If you want the ring, get in the shower.
Yeah, or the toilet. The amount of times I've had...
Absolutely.
especially when people have arranged... Oh, I won't plug it in yet. Actually, I'm playing music off the channel I was supposed to plug the phone into, so let's not do that. Otherwise, it'll be Friendly Fires featuring Nigel Davis.
So we've got you now. I'm watching Facebook.
There's probably a huge time lag going on there as well.
There is a huge time. So there's a time lag between the chart player
Yeah.
and your. But is a time lag obviously between you and. Well.
Yeah. And they're two separate independent time lags. And of course, then if one's buffered compared to the other one, then it'll be further behind as well. So it's
Okay.
you can imagine how when people have tried to do, they've been advertising these live sessions with the Tea Tower lot. The ones they were doing in the Guaco. I better do another link. Hang on a sec. But sorry, I'm just gonna do that first. Actually, it may not be entirely clunky, this next join, but I was just worried because we're going from Friendly Fires and Paris. That was a great track, by the way. Really enjoyed that. To this track by Infernal, which is a kind of dancey track. So there's not really any way I can non-clunkily join those together. So I'm not. I'm gonna soothingly join them together with my dulcet tones. Okay. Or something like that. From Paris to Berlin. with that also being supposed to be a slick link, but I'm not sure it is genre-wise to I've been to Berlin, but
It's close enough.
right. So if I fade that down,
This is mind blowing. I know what's going on here.
I won't be able to hear what you're saying when I plug you into the desk. That's the only thing. So
Okay.
if I go silent, I'll try and shout some time estimates, but and also, yeah, I was just saying that there is a gadget you can get to plug the phone into the desk properly, but it didn't seem worth buying for 2 shows. But I also put I put in a big order. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah. Sorry, I heard you. You said you put a big order.
Yeah.
Due in August.
Yeah. Well, it was for Behringer EQ thing, just because I got these cheap Asda £10 speakers, and they're really good speakers. They're just way too heavy in the bass end.
Right.
In a not nice way. You know, if it was nice bass, it would be fine. But it's like a sort of
Not full
high end bass, like a sort of thump rather than a thud rather than a thump. So I thought, oh, I'll get this, and it'll help with the radio show. But and I thought, oh, I'll throw some leads in, some extra leads that would be useful right now, which I'm not going to get till August because the Behringer thing isn't due till August. And it is frustrating because other sites said that they didn't have them in stock, and this site definitely said, I checked it multiple times, in
Right.
stock. Currently in stock, it's all fine. And yeah.
Yeah. Who is running the radio station now? The chap who said it was the head mod now. Who's that?
Tim Willett, his name is.
Oh, see, the guy used to go to the Gwacha a lot. Older guy. He was a professional journalist at one time. I think he wrote for a bishop, didn't he, or something? He was a PR man for a bishop or
I
something.
vaguely remember something like that, but yeah, I never got round to working with them. All right, we got about 40 seconds,
Right,
so I better plug you in. Okay. Turn the speaker off first. Turn that on. About 20 seconds. I haven't heard that track in ages. Infernal and From Paris to Berlin, which goes perfectly into the track that's been sent to me by our guest tonight, Nigel Davis. Hello.
Hi, Jamie. How are you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm very well, very well. Still locked down, but doing okay. Not going anywhere, let alone Paris or Berlin.
Quite.
So it's the closest to a travel I've been.
Yeah, well, we've gone around the world. Well, we've gone from Paris and Berlin. And that's the only destination I think I've mentioned actually on the playlist.
Via Neath and Pontardawe.
Yeah, exactly. So how have you been keeping through the lockdown? I know you were saying earlier that we haven't actually spoken. We're getting so used to talking on Facebook and things that we've not actually spoken.
Well,
in a
that's
while.
right. Well, I've been busy, like most people, trying to keep yourself busy in the house, and it's actually been quite productive. Managed to do quite a lot with music and recording, writing, and getting to grips with technologies, things like Facebook Live and doing gigs online, which is something I wanted to do in the future, but probably wouldn't have got around to it. But necessity being the mother of invention, I've logged into that quite a bit actually, and learnt an awful lot through necessity.
The same, the amount of people I've seen doing things like that, and the people you'd least expect almost, suddenly cropping up with live gigs and streams and podcasts and making YouTube videos. I know a friend of ours. Well, you've met Damien, haven't you? Damien Rosser takes. I've forgotten to mention him. Every time he's listened, I've forgotten to shout him out on the show. So there we are. Hopefully that's made up for it. And he's starting a YouTube channel now with. What I mean by the people you least expect, he knows a lot about cameras, obviously. Knows a lot about a lot of things, but so both fellow scientists. But he never, to my knowledge, he's been starting to do a little bit of audio recording, and then suddenly he's asking me advice about video streaming, and I'm thinking, well, I've only been doing it about a couple of weeks myself. I'm finding out about this fresh, really. But in some ways, that's good because we're all finding out at the same pace. It's not like asking somebody who's had years of experience which can be good, but sometimes it distances you from knowing what it was like to be new, if that makes sense.
Indeed. And but that's right. As I say, it's new technology. We must embrace it, and hopefully it's not the long-term replacement for gigging live and the rest of the live stuff. But in the meantime, it's something to keep you occupied, and it's been quite fun. It's quite crowd surfing on FaceTime Live isn't so difficult, so easy, but I did do a lot of that anyway.
Well, I never dance at gigs. My sweet spot at a gig is at the back, and I've never been a fan of or subscribed to any ageism or anything like that, but it was quite funny at one gig I went to in Sin City in Swansea, where I just found myself going further and further back till I found my sweet spot. And then when I looked around, it was basically the parents of the band, and and I was just like, yeah, but
and the bouncers.
Yeah, basically, and some of the staff. It's like, okay, right, yeah, but that's what I prefer. I would be quite happy sitting down in a festival. I'm not one of these people who wants to go at the front. And again, my sister was being the absolute opposite at Fire on the Mountain Festival last year. She wanted to be right at the front, all with everybody swashed around them, and I'm just like, no, I want to be at the back on a seat.
Well, isn't this?
There's
more to that than just where you prefer to be in the liveliness of it all. But the sweet spot, music-wise, is at the back near the mixing desk.
Yeah, well, of course.
The best mix is what the sound engineer is hearing. So it's always best place to take a little few steps back. And if you just want to go mad down the front, that's another matter. But if you're there to listen to the music, at the back with the sound engineer, that's the place to be.
That's reassured me now. There was a bit of an unusual one in a venue in Swansea as well. I think they have improved things a lot now, but I know when I went there in the early days of it, they had the speakers almost up in the gods, as they say. They were about. I'm not very good at feet and inches because I'm a metric person, but I don't know. They must have been about 20 foot in the air, and the sound desk was also 20 foot in the air. So I'm sure it was a great mix for the sound engineer, but down on the floor, it was kind of like listening in the bathroom type of thing. It was like
I have a feeling I know where that is.
Yeah, that's why I've cunningly not mentioned it by name, and they have changed things since then.
Very diplomatic of you.
Thank you. Yes. How's the Neath music scene been? Because I've talked a lot about Swansea venues, and I have shouted out the Duke in Neath quite a lot, actually. Having said that, but how do you feel? This is quite a deep question, deeper than I was intending, perhaps. But how do you feel coming out of lockdown, this transition out of lockdown is going to affect the venues there? Because I know I've seen plans from some Swansea venues where they've basically had to say, look, it's going to be cheaper to stay closed under the current rules. And they're not necessarily advocating relaxing them to a point that's not sensible. But
it's the music scene in live in Neath is struggling a little bit anyway, and this hasn't helped. No. I know of venues, as you know, I get involved in the Swansea scene as well, and there was a venue that I know of that has a capacity for 1,000 people. It's remain nameless, but with the 2 meter distancing, the capacity goes down to 48 people. So you think of you know the maths better than I do, but if you've got 2 meters in front, 2 meters behind, 2 meters to either side, that reduces the number of capacity enormously. If it goes down to 1 meter, that same venue's capacity goes up to over 400. So but it's so tough. In Neath, I don't know how we're going to do it. We've got this. I'm trying to avoid mentioning names, but a lot of the venues in Neath, for music-wise, are quite relatively small.
That's what was concerning me. I think that's why I asked you the question. Hopefully, you.
I think if you had a 2 meter rule in some of the pub venues, the smaller club venues, it wouldn't be worthwhile. I was planning a big acoustic festival in the Working Men's Club in Neath for the benefit, a charity thing for Mind. But we wait to see. I haven't called anything off as yet, but we wait to see what things are like. Tough.
That's the thing. Everybody's been, we know people very well as well who've been stuck, personally, who've been stuck in this limbo where you're almost like, I'm going to do a Star Trek reference again, but it's like the Kirk thing I always reference. So in Star Trek Generations, there's a scene where the brand new, very green captain, he's not green because he's an alien, he's human, but he's making the wrong decisions, and Kirk is being very polite and trying desperately not to say anything and biting his tongue. But when the new captain says something, Kirk's just there going, no. And it actually, he's tried to resist up to that point, but then it starts to come out as an under his breath, no.
No.
And I think I've been feeling the same when I've seen people saying, oh, we've had to cancel a few gigs, but don't worry, in September 2020, we're going to have this band. And I'm going, no.
No.
In March,
no.
I was going, no. And it's just like, you don't want to wish any ill will on anybody, of course not. But you're just seeing, gigs being reorganised, then cancelled, reorganised, then cancelled, reorganised, then cancelled.
There's reality. Well, I've done my own share of promotions as well as being a musician myself. And I'm friendly with quite a few promoters, one of whom is putting everything back to April next year. Yeah. Which I think is the best decision for his nerves. As I say, to put it back to September, October, November of this year, only to repeat the exercise all over again with all the communication and readjustments that needs it is just so difficult, so very difficult,
I mean, it sounds awful in some ways, but delaying things by a year is in some ways better, because that's just what festivals have done. They've just gone forward to the dates that they would have had anyway. And so, Indeed. Whilst it's terrible for the music venues, and it's terrible for the promoters, and it's terrible for the bands, in some ways, just saying, right, we're writing off 2020. Let's just do everything we were going to do in 2020 and 2021. That does make a lot of sense to me.
I was supposed to be playing the festival in Hereford in a couple of months' time, but that's been put back to next year. And I think that's once you do that, I suppose it's a huge. The decision's been made, and you're actioning it, and the pressure's off. At least, well, it is what it is. Then,
Yeah.
Rather than sweating on September time, because nobody knows if there's going to be a second wave. Hopefully not. We're all praying against it, but we'll see. We'll see what we see. It's.
I was going to say, would it have been wrong to? I went into journalist mode. I've never been a hardcore journalist then, but I've been watching my Piers Morgan on YouTube.
Right.
And maybe I shouldn't. I'm not trying to go in that direction, but I was thinking from a medical point of view. Yeah, I mean, well, we don't know what's going to happen. There's been new news today that a drug that has been kicking about and is a very widely available sort of, dare I say, stock drug, has been found to have some effect. It's not quite how the headlines put it. The headlines made it sound like there was a cure for it all, as news headlines tend to sensationalise, unfortunately. But it has shown some help. I've forgotten the name of it now.
Dexamethasone.
That's the one. I'm glad you said it, not me.
It's a steroid, oral and injectable, isn't it? It's been used for donkeys, but it's in the 60s for arthritis and the like, but it seems to work in the most severe patients. Those are really in life-threatening situations, aren't they? Who are on oxygen or on an incubator. So yeah, it's really at this extreme end, which is estimated. If they'd have discovered this efficacy at the beginning, they would have saved 5,000 to 8,000 lives in the UK alone. So, but it's been around and it's freely available. It's not something that got to develop and reproduce in huge numbers. Every hospital pharmacy, retail pharmacy probably has it at their disposal. So it is good news. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. Obviously, they have also cautioned that you shouldn't just go out and try and buy it yourself. As you rightly say, it's only for the most severe cases.
Oh, good Lord,
so,
no.
Yeah,
yes.
don't go out and try and seek this out yourself, but it's good to know it's there.
Yeah.
And several people in the comments have said, well, if there's any slight chance it would help if I find myself in that desperate situation, it's really good to know.
Oh no, it's a very controlled situation. It's an intensive care situation, not something for just stick to inhaling bleach or something. You'll be fine.
God, yeah. I honestly can't believe that the world has got to that. Anyway, soapbox away, Jamie. But somebody saying that so brazenly and believing it. And having everybody around in the room must have all been saying the same thing. It's just like, I think I said the same on the Off the Chart Twitter. Somebody said as a joke, listen to our show. It's guaranteed to cure coronavirus. And then to put a star underneath, no, it's not. And I commented back, it's got to be better than swallowing a UV light. I bet you it has more of an effect on coronavirus than swallowing a UV light would. But yeah, I was honestly baffling. Honestly,
it was worth it to see the face of his chief medical advisor, professor of medicine. They focused in on her expression, which was terror.
And they did some very I can't remember his name now again, but it's the comedian who does some of the inserts in the MASH report. and
Right.
he's again one of these people who I'm sure he's done things on his own that we just haven't seen. But of course, now everybody on lockdown, he's taken it upon himself to do this whole channel of where he's sort of playing the role of the person in Donald Trump's earpiece, basically.
Oh yes,
or
yes.
other advisors are he's done as well. But it was fantastic. It's just like, right, don't say anything stupid. I'm just going to go. The my Chinese has arrived at the door, and my takeaway. I'm just going to go and grab it. So that's when Donald Trump says those things, and he comes back and just goes, "What did you say? What's he said? What?
He's just done one with Boris Johnson as well, which I've shared on my Facebook. It's as I say, he's got it to the T.
He has. It's
but
perfect.
Crazy times.
And I believe that was real over what actually happened any day.
Yeah,
I really would.
Indeed. Well, I've been finding myself looking through, as TV programs are getting more and more constrained in terms of new ones. I've been looking back through reruns of Have I Got News for You? And you get wonderful references like, can you imagine if Donald Trump became president? And if Boris became Prime Minister of the UK? And it's come about. It's like looking back on something and thinking, really, this actually happened. I'm going to wake up. It's going to be a nightmare as I'm waking up from. But there we go.
It does feel like that. So it's all a dream. It never really happens. We're going to
all
wake up in the shower. Yeah. No, hopefully not all in the same shower. Now that would, although could it get any weirder? Probably not. That's probably not as weird as the things that happen.
Well, the shower is the respective governments of the US and
oh
UK.
Dear. Soapboxes away. Soapboxes away. Yeah, no, we haven't not been political at all on the station, but we've tried to keep it lighter. Yeah, seeing as I was saying to you that I was going to talk to you about music, let's bring it back to the music. And
oh yes.
Yeah. So the track you sent me is called, as we've had From Paris to Berlin. The reason I played that is because we've got a track called I've Been to Berlin. So tell me a little bit about that and what led to that song.
Well, it's I've Been to Berlin was it's a song. It started off as a bit of a jazz song, but it's sort of got that sort of gypsy jazz feel to it. But I just love the city of Berlin. If you've ever been there, it's a wonderful, exciting city. Totally recommend. I've several stories from Berlin. On one occasion, I stayed there in the Grand Hotel, which is a lovely hotel in Berlin. And I'm there, and I'm looking down on the foyer, and Boris Yeltsin comes into the foyer. And I found out subsequently it was the night of the official celebration of the wall coming down. Wow. And Boris was absolutely plastered. I can say that now. He's gone. With about 20 KGB people around him trying to keep him upright and not doing a very good job of it because they were smaller than him, big guy. But it's one of those cities that things happen in, Yeah. I went behind the Berlin Wall at one time because you could go behind there if Berlin Wall was there to stop East Berliners getting out.
Yeah.
But you could go in if you showed your passport and everything else, applied in advance. And I went across with members of the armed forces. It's a long story. And it was absolutely incredible. And I went back there some years later after the wall had completely come down and you couldn't see the join. But it's a great city. And I just put the song together. And it's got some various references to other places of the world, and in particular Berlin.
And where can people find out more about your music if they want to download and listen?
Well, I've got a website. I'm so pleased. I've got a new, easy to remember domain name, which is Nigel.website.
What?
How cool is that? That's it. Nigel.website. You can put the www.
I'm going to type that myself now just to try it out. I believe you. It's not because I don't believe you. It's just that I've never seen a website like that before.
Oh, yes, I found that suffix. Nigel.website.
There it is. Yeah.
There we go. And you can sign up for there's music pages on there that you can play through and download if you so wish. And you can sign up for mailings and the like. So, yeah, it's Nigel.website.
I guess the only danger there is, as I was saying on the video stream, which you've been watching as well, I said sort of like twitch.tv at Jamie Nemeth and ended up sort of saying, that makes it sound like I don't know how a website works. I guess the only danger is until this becomes a mainstream thing, people might just assume you don't know how websites work. Oh, yes, it's Nigel.website. It's just like, what?
Well, I used to have
That's brilliant.
nigelb.co.uk.
Yeah.
And somebody said, when I first saw it, I thought it said Nigel, which is a terrible verb.
It is frustrating. I won't mention the particular hashtag, but it was a singer's new album came out, and it was album party was at the end of it, and what it spelt out in between, because people didn't realise it was all going to be in lowercase when it went out. It spelt something rather different. Unfortunately, so at least it didn't spell anything like that. It was just Nigel.
Stop digging that hole now.
Yeah, well, everybody knows what it is. I've just alluded to it, but yeah, things like that do. Every time I'm typing something, I'll type a hashtag and just kind of go, "Ooh, no, I better capitalize that." Although it's actually good practice to capitalize a hashtag.
Yes.
For people who have difficulty separating words out, writing it all in lowercase is generally not good either. So, web addresses tend to separate out things by dots, so there's at least something there. Yeah, that's a new one on me. I didn't know there was a dot website domain.
There's another suffix, but unfortunately it was taken, which is dot musician.
Really?
I beg your pardon, dot music. But some classical composer whose name I've conveniently forgotten pinched the Nigel dot music. So Nigel dot website it is.
Yeah, I think I saw the announcement that there were new ones on the way. I didn't realise that they diversified so much. So yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, we're gonna hear that track now then. Would you like to introduce it, and then I'll play it?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Well, listen. This is from my forthcoming album called Reflections. It's the opening track. It'll probably be the single as well. It's called I've Been to Berlin, and this is the first airing in public that it's ever had. It's an exclusive to Off the Chart Radio. Thank you, Jamie.
Oh, thank you very much for that as well. And thanks for joining me.
Take care.
Seamless. There we go. As long as I've left my mic off.
Yep.
That's what I normally do a bad habit of talking on the phone, and then I'm saying it all on air as well. Yeah.
There's so many bloody things going on.
And of course you can see it now. Well, you can't see the desk. I did try and set up a second camera on the desk, but that just never worked. But there we are.
Yeah, I got confused myself. Like there's so many different things going on. I mean, time. I feel like a time lord.
Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it? Cheers for that, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, mate. Listen, keep in touch. Good luck with it. Good luck on Thursday's show, and I can't wait to get in touch. We can have a drink because it makes you appreciate what you're missing.
It does. I'll never take a gig for granted ever again. I was starting to take them for granted and kind of go, "Oh, not another gig" type of thing. And I'm sure we all get to that point. But
same in getting in touch with friends and things like that for a bit. You think, oh, there'll always be time, and think something is happening. Thinking, no, maybe not. There we are. Hey, I'll leave you in peace, mate. Thanks ever so much for having me on. Appreciate it very much.
So for now.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's great to have Nigel on the show. My penultimate show. Sorry if the audio dipped out from the phone there. I wasn't intending necessarily to put it on the video stream as well, so I was just holding it up to the microphone. I don't have an audio route for the phone to go through separately. Well, actually, I do, but then I wouldn't have been able to hear Nigel. I wouldn't have been able to hear his responses. I suppose if I pressed loads of buttons, I'm sure there's a way I could have done it, but then I would have messed up the radio show. So that's too much complication. I'm quite capable of messing up the radio show with much less complication than that. Let's fade that back up. I've reset that channel now for music. As I give the EQs a little bit of a mid up on that. It's weird. So a little trick just to get some extra volume out of that channel. Just nudge every single EQ up. It's not perfect because it's sort of, instead of boosting all of the volumes uniformly, it's gonna boost like the three bands, leaving some gaps in between. But it worked fine. If you're ever doing live sound mixing and you need to do that as a bit of an emergency because someone's coming through too quiet and you've got no gain to turn up, top of these channels don't have gain on them. Just nudge up the all of the EQs ever so slightly. It'll give you a bit more volume. There we are. Top tips for a very specific edge case, a very specific circumstance there, but I haven't actually checked this one. I'm going to put the mics on. Nigel Davis there, and I've been to Berlin. Well, I haven't been to Berlin, but Nigel has. So if you want to find out more about his music, nigel.website. I still can't believe that's a thing. All the things we've learnt tonight, all the things we learnt on Rob Wong's show before mine, which you can hear again on Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/offthechartradio, where he was talking about words that he'd learnt during lockdown that he never knew existed before. I've now learnt about websites. Or top-level domains, TLDs, to show off my acronym chops there. But yeah, you can get .website and .music. Didn't know that. I knew there were other dots you could get, but I know .wales and .cymru, they exist. And I've used them, actually, for the Fiddle Festival. Fiddlefestival.wales and goilfiddle.cymru. But yeah. Wow, we should get that. Maybe we should get Jamie.music. Probably taken already. Actually, yeah, so, and it probably costs quite bit, actually. Having a top level domain costs money. Oh, I don't know. Jamie.music isn't. No. Well, see how much it costs later. No, okay. It's not working. Maybe it's not a real thing. Maybe I've got it wrong. There's everybody's talking about Jamie. You're not talking at all, producer Mum and Dad.
Do you think maybe that Nigel was kind of shying short of saying, "Oh, it was an absolute horror of a fiddler that took my domain name"?
Well, I did. It did cross my mind. Yes, when he said a composer that I've completely forgotten the name of, I thought, well,
yeah, he remembered who he was talking to.
The only dots I know is join the dots.
Well, actually, you say you've never switched on a computer, but you've been getting quite adept at some technology.
What's that?
I don't know, but you have. Well, no, you've surprised me with things sometimes.
I used a mobile phone once.
Yeah, well, you surprised me when you answered the mobile phone. I genuinely, that's bad, isn't it? But I genuinely answered the phone with, "Dad, yeah? How did you do that? What? Answer the phone." But it's more, in context, it's because I couldn't even do that. When I got my first smartphone, actually no, I suppose it counts as a second smartphone really, but the first smartphone I had all little keyboard buttons on it. I used to call it a Mockberry because it was a bit like a BlackBerry, but it was actually a Nokia. Maybe Knockberry would have been better. Or much worse, it sounds bad. But it had lots of little keys on it, so everything had its own key, didn't have a touch screen on it. Then when I had my first touch screen smartphone, Mum was ringing me for at least 3 or 4 times, and I was just leaving it ring, and Mum was probably wondering why I wasn't answering. It's just because I couldn't answer. Because I was pressing the green button on the screen, nothing was happening. It's because you've got to swipe. And she's like, "Oh, that's what those arrows are for that are flashing to show me to move my finger in that direction." But I just thought you could just press the button, nothing happened.
It's like following the words on when you sing along to a song on certain sites, isn't it?
Yeah, they sometimes go too fast, yeah.
Arrows flash. You're so busy looking at that the music has flashed, the words have flashed, they've all gone.
I know there's a YouTube channel I follow a lot called Technology Connections, and at the end he does his sort of behind-the-scenes role, and quite often that'll consist of the auto cue, even though he's controlling the speed himself and he's written the script himself, and he'll sometimes comment that and say, "I've written this myself and I can't say it," you know. It is good to see that, because that's exactly what I do when I'm recording. The finished product looks like I've done it on the first take. It's taken me at least 17 takes to get that. He's better than me at that, but yeah.
Oh, it's good that Nigel's got something that's, anything that's unusual is really memorable. But there's also a hint about with his songs, because his songs, they've got these memorable things. Like in that way, he said, "I knew Fat Swallow when he was slim." He's got these twists of phrases that are really good. You've got to really listen.
Very talented lyricist and technologist now, with all the websites and
musician,
live streams going on.
he plays so many instruments that I kind of lost. There's so many gadgety instruments as well. Yes, I've lost track.
Yes, it's well, he inspired me to get some effects pedals for my violin. The problem is I can't master it because you need to kind of be standing still to use the to play the violin, and you can't do that while doing the effects pedal. And guitars are, it's hard to move around while playing the guitar, but guitar's much more forgiving than a violin is if you move your feet at all. Basically, the bow just bounces off the thing like like it's spring loaded. So I could just never quite balance myself and get it working at all. And
yeah, if you remember, there was a certain charity event that you played with Nigel at, and your bow was flying off, Dad's hat was flying off, and somehow Nigel stayed intact.
Yeah,
he stayed in complete control.
Oh, we're talking about the windswept one.
Yeah.
There's a video of that floating around on Facebook somewhere. It was hysterical. Outside a church in Morriston, but they'd taken over the front of the church for this sort of mini festival thing going on, and yeah. I had to play backwards at some point and apologise to the audience who were all there gallantly weathering the storm. And I said, look, I have to face backwards because right now I feel like a weather vane. And if I don't turn backwards to you, even though I know I'm being rude, my violin will be snapped in this direction, like a weather vane is forced to change direction. That's literally how it felt. And I had to crouch down behind a chair at one point, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't physically move the bow in a straight line.
But there was always one song that he did. I can't blame him because it wasn't his own song. It was a cover song, but it had the word storm in it, and guaranteed every single time he's changed the weather. So not only is a wordsmith and a multi-instrumentalist, but he also is a storm gatherer.
Look, he does have his own song, When the Wild Wind Blows, and he was laughing every time he sang that lyric as well. Because every time, Right, is food nearly ready? I'm hungry.
Yes, I need your cup and food is ready to go.
Good, okay. I'm going to sign off then. Would you like to sign off before I do?
I'd say good night, everybody stay safe.
I say, well, it's been a journey. We're going through a weird journey without any idea of a destination or going to get to. And it's been apt that you've been part of this pop-up journey with Off the Chart. I have enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope the whole Off the Chart people have thought, yeah, this has been good. It's been good to get back together.
I really hope, as I may have said already, but I really hope it's proved the concept now. It may be a little while before we do another one, but I hope it won't be 6 years. Because what we've proved is we can just start this pop-up station. It's because I said the word start, isn't it? That's what arrived in my word queue in my brain. The opposite of start, obviously. But we can pop this up anytime. Maybe not next week, because I think we'll all need a bit of a rest. Tim Willits' wallet will probably need a bit of a rest. Tim Willits'? It was grammatically correct, just sounded odd. His wallet probably needs a bit of a break, and I have offered to chip in. Not everybody can, but I am in this fortunate position where I am able to work from home at the moment. Not everybody is, so I've said, well, look, it seems fair for me to chip in something just to, as my financial way of saying thank you for it. Because of course, when we were on Off the Chart Radio proper 6 years ago and before, that's what we all did. We all chipped in £5 a month, £10 a month in the later days when the licensing got a bit more expensive. But it meant that we created an entire station that we could all be part of, whereas us individually wouldn't have been able to ever achieve that. And that's what was great about it, Definition of community spirit. So, whilst life hasn't always been good in general before current times, I think overall this is a reminder of times when life has been good, and it has offered us opportunities where life has been good. And I'm not trying to parody Dave Gorman here. The next track is by Joe Walsh, carrying on from I've Been to Berlin, with one of the more tenuous links in the tenuous track title tour, using the word been. It's Life's Been Good. Good night.
I've been Studio 2. Good night.
Always using the end of my recognise this song. I wouldn't have recognised it by the title. Joe Walsh likes me get you have smoke coming from outside as well. Let's wait until the end of the show at least.
Forget the price. Ain't never been there. They tell me it's nice.
So Twitch dashboard.
I live in hotels.
Sorry, those of you watching on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live, I just realised I was being a bit rude then, assuming that you were all on Twitch. Twitch has a feature that allows you to raid somebody else's stream, which isn't a negative thing despite the sound of it. It means that your viewers on Twitch sort of get carried over to somebody else's show. So in a way, it is a bit like a radio. You hand over to the next show. It's just that in this case, they're all independent streams. So I will try and find somebody now to join. Shall I raid Harris Heller just for the fun of it? Because it's not somebody who needs the raid. I mean, he's currently got 1,300 viewers, but he is somebody who has been really helpful. Produced lots of really good videos on YouTube and Alpha Gaming, instructional videos, hints and tips for what cameras to buy. And in fact, he's called a person at Water. He's the person that inspired me to have a look for a cheap webcam, because I was always convinced that webcams were a lot cheaper than they are at the moment with price inflation, lockdown, and because everybody wants a webcam, because lots of people like me are thinking, oops. I was accidentally playing music through my stream then. Could have told me. Right, let's start that speech again. You weren't meant to hear any of that. I only noticed because it came up on Facebook. It said your stream has now been muted because you're playing music that belongs to Warner Music Group. It's like, no, I'm not. That's not coming through the stream. And it's like, oops, yes, it is, because I left that dial turned up. One of my music dials. Okay, apologies. That's okay. If it's recognised the track and it's muted it, I didn't do it deliberately. That's fine. The problem on Twitch at the moment seems to be where I don't know. Oh well. Too late now, it's happened. But yeah, I was talking about Harris Haller, who's done some really useful tutorials that have helped me a lot. So he doesn't need me to raid his stream. Raiding is where you take the viewers that you've got on Twitch and go over to somebody else's stream. He doesn't need me to raid him at all, but I'll just do it for fun. Just for the hell of it. The heller of it. Oh, terrible pun. But yeah, his videos have been really useful, so I can recommend them if you're a serious Twitch streamer, serious gamer, or if you're just starting out like me. He's got a mixture of videos to help newbies and experienced people alike. And he's the one that's inspired me to look for cheap webcams, actually, because he did a review of lots of different cheap webcams, and found out that like a $30 webcam was actually half decent. So I looked around myself and found this one for 20 quid. Been serving me well. Let me just finish off my radio show a second. The official stream. Okay. Right, so that's the radio stream off. So let's raid Harris Haller. It's more for the people watching this that I'm showing you Harris Haller. Harris Haller probably won't even notice that I've done this, because it's going to disappear in the wash with his 1,300 other followers. But yeah, it's a really good channel. But again, this is where he's chatting with loads of people, and there's so many messages coming in thick and fast that it may be quite difficult to follow at times. You'll probably play a game at some point, I'm sure. But if you're interested in the YouTube videos I talked about, which are a lot more consumable, shall I say? Because you know, it won't be like, you know, fast-paced chat. It'll be an instructional video and a hints and tips video directed at you, singular. So have a look at the links on his channel and follow those, and you'll get lots of great hints and tips. And also, I set a bad example there by accidentally playing the music out through the stream, despite having a great record of not doing so. But and all my clever system for rerouting things. Yeah, what did I say about things going wrong if I try to reroute things too much? Yeah, he's got a channel called Stream Beats, which you can get on Spotify and YouTube, and it's all music that is completely Twitch safe to play in the backgrounds of your streams. Also YouTube safe to play in the backgrounds. If you're looking for background music, atmospheric background music to talk over, it's really good for that as well. Doesn't apply so much if you're doing a music stream of your own original songs, of course, but if you're doing like a podcast or whatever, and you just feel like it's a bit absent, there's something just not filling the gaps, then do that. Right, I'm going to have my food. So good night for now. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you on Sunday for my last show on Off the Chart Radio. I may do some test streams before that on Twitch, but my last radio show behind the scenes stream for people watching on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope and Facebook Live will be on Sunday at 8 PM and from 8 PM till 10 PM, and the Twitch streams will be a bit ad hoc between now and then. I'll just be trying things out, but I'll also have uni assignments to do and things like that. But from when Off the Chart finishes, I'm going to try and do a show on Twitch regularly. So that's twitch.tv/Jamie Nemeth. Okay, let's tune into Harris-Heller then. In 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.